Known for their creativity, visionary thinking, and deep caring for others, INFJs often tend to feel misunderstood and isolated. But there's one thing that contradicts the gentle, caring nature they're known for, something they unleash when they are betrayed. It's called the INFJ Door Slam. What is it, and is there a way to reverse it? Keep watching to find out all about it. Why do INFJs slam the door? INFJ, which stands for introversion, intuition, feeling, and judgment, is one of the 16 Myers-Briggs personality types. Only 1 to 2% of the US population belongs to this group, and so they are believed to be the rarest of all MBTI personalities. INFJs are caring people who love helping others, but they don't let people in easily. It takes a lot of effort for an INFJ to trust a person enough. However, once they do, they give a lot to others and invest plenty of energy into understanding them. When an advocate does welcome someone in to share their deepest thoughts and aspirations, it creates an intense, meaningful experience that is quite unlike others. It's because of all these personality traits that an INFJ does not handle betrayal well. So when someone whom they care about, whether it's a family member or relative, betrays them, they feel extremely hurt. If their actions were so intense or damaging, an INFJ may feel an intense feeling of anger and resentment toward that person and want to lash out. INFJs only slam the door or cut people out of their lives when they feel deeply wounded. They can cut a person off when they can no longer tolerate a person's toxicity. If you're the person on whom the door has been slammed, it's because your INFJ friend, family member, or partner felt that there was no other means of stopping the emotional and mental anguish that you were causing them. You may not have intentionally meant to cause pain to an INFJ, but nevertheless the feeling is there and it isn't going to go away. Those who have the personality of an advocate are more receptive and sensitive toward the actions and words of those around them. When compared to other personality types, INFJs need stronger emotional support, more harmony, and a healthy amount of give and take in their relationships to not only feel comfortable but to thrive. While INFJs are patient and forgiving when it comes to others' shortcomings, they too have their breaking point. If your relationship becomes damaging and draining, an INFJ will remove themselves from the unhealthy relationship to save their sanity. They only slam the door as a last resort. When betrayed, INFJs can be super intense and are capable of truly making others regret betraying them. The INFJ Door Slam. The INFJ Door Slam refers to a situation wherein an INFJ or advocate, as they're also known, cuts someone out of their life without any explanation. While this door slam is not restricted only to INFJs, and other personality types do it too when faced with betrayal, it tends to be more frequent and intense with advocates. In most cases, the betrayed INFJ will retreat and cut off all contact with this person. They will also make an attempt to remove themselves from the hurt and take measures to prevent any hurt in the future. In addition, INFJs will take some time to mourn the loss of that particular relationship, because a strong betrayal is akin to a death for an INFJ. In some cases, an INFJ will have to continue contact with the person who has betrayed them. This usually happens when circumstances make it impossible for an INFJ to completely door slam someone. For example, this could be a coworker they're working with on a project or a family member whom they see at big family events. This case of refrained contact can be termed as an emotional door slam, where the advocate will politely tolerate the other person's presence but limit their interactions with them. Because they've been betrayed by someone whom they trusted, an INFJ will revoke the person's access to their authentic inner feelings and thoughts. In simpler terms, they will stop being vulnerable around this person and put up walls around their true self to protect themselves from being hurt. Unfortunately, in some instances, the other person may not even notice that their advocate acquaintance has slammed the door on them. In cases where the person can be completely cut off from their lives, the door slam tends to be more dramatic, to say the least. This could be when an advocate breaks off a romantic relationship with their partner or has a falling out with someone whom they considered a good friend. If an INFJ feels betrayed in this case, the door slam extends to cutting off all contact with the other person, unfollowing them on all social media platforms, and not even attempting to spend any time with them. From the perspective of psychologists, it's said that a deeply wounded advocate doesn't just hate the person who betrayed them, they turn them into nothing. In addition, they may take an even more shocking step, wipe every trace of the other person from their life. For example, if they break up with their partner, they may collect all trinkets, gifts, photos with that person, or notes that they have given and discard or bury them. INFJs will essentially try to get rid of everything that remotely reminds them of the person who betrayed them as a part of their door slam process. For outsiders or other personality types, slamming the door on someone who was once close to them may seem too drastic. However, for advocates, that's not the case because the door slam is a result of something that has been building up for quite some time. The final door slam is the result of a single fight, event, or betrayal that pushes the advocate over the edge, prompting them to cut ties with the other person once and for all. Will an INFJ reverse the door slam? Sometimes an INFJ will reverse their door slam after they've been betrayed, but sometimes they won't. There are certain circumstances that'll dictate which of these two outcomes an INFJ will choose. For the door to be reopened, the advocate must strongly and wholeheartedly believe that the other person will no longer hurt them. To let them in again, they must completely trust that the other person is sorry for the pain caused, and also understand why their actions were so damaging. Most importantly, the other person who supposedly betrayed the INFJ must commit to changing the way they treat them. If all of these conditions are fulfilled, the INFJ may be able to heal and reverse the door slam. Nobody's perfect, and neither are INFJs. It's possible for them to slam the door too quickly or overreact. Since this personality type is prone to bottling up their feelings instead of dealing with them head-on when they can still be tackled, the issue snowballs into something bigger than it needed to be. The person on the other side of things may feel blindsided and even unsure of what they did wrong because INFJs usually don't let on that they were hurting in the first place. So if you're an INFJ, it's important that you openly strike up a conversation with the person you love and communicate about the problem. You also need to consider that you may have had a part in the conflict, or you may want to set better boundaries. On the other hand, sometimes the hurt from betrayal is so potent that an INFJ will not want to reopen the door, revisit those feelings, or let the other person into their life again. In this instance, the door slam is completely justified, simply because advocates, like other sensitive introverts, tend to sometimes attract narcissistic, toxic, or even emotionally needy people. The reason behind that last logic is that INFJs have an urge to help others and make the world a better place. Since they're so perceptive toward the emotions of other people, they can see everyone's true potential and guide them on how to get there. INFJs are cheerleaders of growth and self-development, and they're innately drawn to helping people work through personal or emotional obstacles so that they can live their best lives. This quality is ingrained in their very nature. In fact, an INFJ might even subconsciously befriend or date a person who needs to be saved. The door will always and should remain closed if the relationship was emotionally manipulative or physically abusive, and if being around the person was emotionally taxing and stressful. The same applies if the person an INFJ slammed the door on, cheated, deceived, manipulated, or took advantage of their kind nature. If you want to prevent an INFJ door slam, then always remember that the words you speak to an INFJ really matter, and so does how you treat them. INFJs need to feel like their true emotions and feelings are being acknowledged and respected. They hold understanding and emotional intelligence above all else and greatly appreciate fairness and balance in all their relationships. If you treat an INFJ personality type with kindness and respect, then the door will always remain open. Do you have an INFJ personality? Have you ever slammed the door on anyone, or has an INFJ ever slammed the door on you? Comment below. As always, like and share this video and subscribe to our channel for more updates on psychology.